and welcome to Trying Times. My name is Carmen. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for joining me quite literally at the end of 2025, but better late than never. I am so happy you're here. Again, like I said, my name's Carmen. If you're new here, the show is basically a little bit about all the different kinds of things we experience in life. Some of them might be exciting, some of them might be depressing, some of them might be embarrassing. Hence the name Trying Times. And if you've been here before, you already know, you've heard the spiel a million and one times now. Actually, probably well over 80 times now, I believe. I'm trying to think of how many episodes there have been. A lot. There's been a lot of episodes. I started the show quite a few years ago now, and it's been a fun process for me to learn different things about myself, to learn about podcasting, to learn about video, to learn about all the things. So thank you for being there with me along for this whole ride. It's been so much fun, and I can't wait to continue learning and continue doing more and get to talk to you about more stuff. So thank you so much for joining me. I cannot believe that the holidays are here. It's already December. It's very fast. I don't know. I feel like every year as I get older, it just goes quicker and quicker. And for some reason, it's harder and harder to grasp as a concept every single year that passes because I just feel like I'm not used to it. I feel like it catches me off guard every year. And without fail, every single year, I feel like I'm so late to buying gifts or preparing for the holidays or preparing for Christmas in all ways. When it comes to things like baking or things like watching Christmas movies or maybe doing cutesy little activities, I'm pretty good with that. But when it comes to getting gifts, decorating, preparing, like I hate that every year without fail. Decorating I've been better. Decorating has been like it's been like I want to say maybe a month and a half before Christmas every year so far for the last few years. But the gift getting and the gift buying and the purchasing and all of that has been a little bit of a conundrum. It's been a little bit of a hard time. So that's where I struggle. But this year I was hoping to have it be different. And then I got excited about Halloween as I do every single year. This year I really just said, screw it to the costume. I normally get so excited to dress up. I've had quite a few cool costumes in the last few years. And this year and last year were just kind of like, I can't think of one. It's last minute. So I do some cool makeup and that's fun. And now, without a doubt, the holidays are here and it all just flew by in the blink of an eye. I could have spent all of November preparing. Truly, I could have. But that just did not happen. It didn't work out that way. So we're not going to beat ourselves down about this. We're not going to get sad about it. It is what it is. The holidays are here. We're going to do the best that we can. And this episode, like I said, is going to be all about the holidays. It is also, as I said, the final episode of the year. And it's been a really cool journey, as I mentioned already, that I've gotten to learn a lot more stuff about myself through doing this. I've gotten to learn a lot more stuff about podcasting. I've gotten to learn a lot more stuff about both audio and video. So that's been really fulfilling and really fun. And I would just love to know what you guys thought about this year. For anybody who maybe just started listening this year, you're probably like, okay, what do I tell you about this? Tell me anything you want to say. Share any thoughts you might have. Be like, hey, I really enjoy this, or hey, I would enjoy it more if you did something more like this, or I don't know, just anything that comes to mind. If you have been listening for a while, then you'll know that I used to do episodes at one point in time weekly, which then moved to bi-weekly, which has now become monthly because I wanted to start to devote time to video. And video for me is much more doable every month than it is every week or every other week. So this is where we're at, and I would just love to know what you guys think. And if you enjoy the video aspect, I know I do. I feel like I'm actually kind of talking more so to somebody than I would be just through audio, but that's how I feel about it. I like the video aspect. I think it's fun. I think it's cool, and it's a different way for me to reach people and relate. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you do have any thoughts or concerns or feelings or anything you would like to share with me, feel free to DM me at the Trying Times Podcast on Instagram, or go ahead and send me an email at thetryingtimespodcast@gmail.com, because I would really love to hear from you and hear what you think. So yeah, there's that. As I said, this episode's going to be all about Christmas, and I'm specifically looking at it as the mayhem of the holidays or chaos of the holidays. Not necessarily in a bad way. In some ways, like, it can feel a little overwhelming. It can feel like a lot to deal with when it comes to being around many people, being in maybe busier places, doing a lot more on top of an already busy schedule. The holidays are very exciting and very much worth it, but also very, very overwhelming. So that's what this episode's going to be a little bit about. So normally as I start every single episode, I like to share some sort of a statistic, a scientific fact, or a fun fact in general about whatever topic it is that I'm discussing. And this episode obviously being all about Christmas and the holidays, I wanted to share a fun fact about Christmas trees. When it comes to decorating and setting up a Christmas tree for the holidays, I feel like this is naturally one of the top 4 or 5 things we think about when it comes to the holidays. You think about Christmas movies, maybe, gifts, gathering with loved ones, decorating, which Christmas trees fall under there. So there's that. And then yeah, I don't know. I blanked on everything else. So Christmas trees. Did you know that the use of a Christmas tree in our homes actually comes from Germany in the 16th century? So through some research, I came to learn that this actually started from a tradition that began in Germany, which I didn't really know anything about that. And I find it really interesting to learn about that kind of stuff. This is something that basically took place during the Revolutionary War. And a lot of the US soldiers that were stationed in what is now Chicago, they basically hauled trees from surrounding woods to their barracks in Christmas time, and this basically helped to garner a lot of the popularity of the Christmas tree that then spread over America. So at the time, they actually used to decorate these trees with candles to give them some sort of a light, which is actually so cool when you think about that. I cannot imagine the attention to detail, and also safety hazard, which at the time surely was not a thing. The same way that it would be now. So they used to decorate these with candles, fruits, and other ornaments, which is just so cool. I like that even, I don't know, nowadays, when we decorate Christmas trees, for a lot of people, they create either those strings of popcorn or cranberries. That's a big thing that people do. I've never done either, but they both seem very cute to me. Some people like to dry orange slices or other types of citrus fruits and create ornaments with those, or create more garlands with that sort of a thing. I find that really fun. But for me, Christmas tree decorations, they've kind of always been the same. Like I have friends that like to do different themes every year. My sister loves to do different themes every year. Me, I just like to stick with either like white and light blue decor because blue is my favorite color, or I like to stick with just like white and gold and silver. Like I like to mix metals. And then I like to hide my little favorite ornaments all in and around the tree. I have had these specific ornaments since I was like probably 6 or 7 years old. 6, 7. I hate that I just said that. And they're basically a little set of SpongeBob ornaments, and they're my favorite thing in the world. I think I've lost, I'm not gonna lie, maybe 1 or 2 over the years. Granted, I'm now 29 years old. Surely, I think the fact that I have majority of them and it's been that many years accounts for something. So still proud of myself. But it comes with a little set of all the characters. So there's one of, well, there's actually, I think 2 of SpongeBob. There's one of Patrick, one of Gary, one of Squidward. I think there was a Sandy and a Mr. Krabs. And I'm not sure that those still are with me, but wherever they are, they're very loved. And all of them have either little like Santa Claus hats on or a little like gift wish list, some sort of a festive theme to all of them, but they're SpongeBob characters. Anyways, they're all like this big. They're pretty small and pretty detailed, and I like to hide them in different parts of the tree because to me it's like a fun thing where whenever I pass by the tree in our house, I can see if I can spot one. Like I place them there. I'm realistically, honestly, out of all the ornaments we put, it probably sounds so stupid now that I'm listening back to this, now that I'm saying it out loud, but out of all the ornaments I put up there, those ones usually are either the very first or the very last, and I'm not going to remember every single place that I put them in out of all the ornaments that we put up by the time we're done. So I usually can't spot them that easily, and it's just a fun little game for me. Keeps me young at heart. I enjoy it. I get excited to do that. So that's something I love. And then I also have a couple of like other fun little ornaments that I've been gifted from friends and family over the years, and some that I've gotten through travels around the world and different places that I've been to. So that's been really cool. So I just love having those little fun things in, because I think as important as it is to have a theme with a tree, it's nice to have some personality in there. So that's how I tie that in. I don't know about you. What do you do? What do you find fun? Do you love a good theme? Do you love like that very clean and clear aesthetic? Or are you someone that's very much like anything goes? Because I like to find a middle ground between the two. Like I love a little bit of organization, of course. That is something that I thrive off of, but I also like a little bit of personality in the mix. So I don't know. Either comment below depending on where you're listening to this, or feel free to DM me and let me know, because I love seeing different trees and different decorations, so share that with me, please. I won't lie. I just spent a long time rambling about Christmas trees and how I like to decorate them and how I like them and whatever else. Like I just said, I love the look of a Christmas tree, but do I love the process of setting it up? Not inherently. No, not a lot. But it is something that I still love in terms of like obviously the little kind of playing hide and seek with different ornaments. I think that's so fun. It's something that's exciting. It makes it more fun as a process. Also, you could always set up like a Christmas movie, or I honestly will either always put on music or YouTube videos or something in the background. So I have something going while I'm decorating because it's fun and it's nice. It's like a little, it sets a little vibe for the whole thing. And I will say this, I, in my whole life of setting up Christmas trees, have never actually had a real Christmas tree. Now, I know when I was either way younger, maybe just before I was born, I don't know, my parents and my siblings did get a real Christmas tree, I think once or twice. And the cleanup of all the needles once they removed the tree from the house, once the holidays were over, was just apparently not worth the hassle. So they never did it again. So up until now, I've only ever really dealt with fake Christmas trees. And I would like to add maybe the process of like setting it up and popping it into the corner of a room, wherever you're going to put it, isn't as hard as setting up a real one because you don't have to like strap it to, I don't know, against a wall in case it's like slanted, or really fix the post at the bottom to make sure it doesn't fall over. It's not that difficult, but at the same time, it's still not the easiest. It's also quite heavy depending on what size tree you have. I don't know. The one thing that I can take away from all this is that the overall prep for Christmas is tough no matter what. Whether you're decorating a real tree, a fake tree, whether you're decorating outside, decorating inside. Decorating last year, I did a thing where I put up garland that has like it's like it has like that metal sort of like wiring in it, so you can really mold it to whatever shape or mold it to create like a frame for whatever. I put up a garland like that around our TV in our family room at home, and it has these like little fake cranberries and pine cones, and then it also has twinkly lights all wrapped in and around it. And oh my God, I love the way it looked. But I'm going to be honest with you, I did use command strips to do this. And one of the command strips was not either properly attached to the wall, or maybe it was just pulled down too hard. I'm saying this like I didn't do it and it was my fault. Maybe it was pulled down a little too aggressively and the strip wasn't properly removed when we were taking it down, and some of the paint came off the wall. And did a lot of those fake cranberries fall all over the place? And did I have to vacuum them up both during setup and during takedown? Yes. Yes. Now, was it worth all the hassle? Yeah, I'm going to do it again this year. If anything, I would hope by the time you're listening to this episode that I have already put it up by then, because if not, we're not doing it. It's too late. But all that to say, no matter what you're doing for setup, no matter what decorations you're doing, no matter what prep there is, it's always tough. Is it worth it in the end? Yes. Is it frustrating in the moment though? Yes. So that is one thing I think we can take away from it. But moving furthermore into the different areas of chaos that I was mentioning earlier when it comes to the holidays, I will say one, consumerism. I don't think I have to say very much when it comes to this because I feel like we as a collective just know that it's on the up. And not even necessarily just during the holidays, like all year round. Yes, it is on the up. It's already a thing that we all are aware of. But during the holidays, now, does that mean I'm not going to be one of those people that's out there like buying gifts for my loved ones? I am going to be out there and I will be doing it too. But at the same time, it is it does go a long way, I think, to be mindful of not only budgets, of course, and financial costs, but also to be aware of what exactly it is that you're gifting your loved ones and what exactly it is that you are thinking about getting for somebody. Because for me, I think for a long time, at least, especially when I was younger, getting gifts just meant getting something the other person really loves. And that's exciting. And that doesn't mean that's not what I'm doing now. But what I'm doing now, at least what I've tried to do, is get something like, I don't know, I do this during like the year. If I'm with a close friend or with my siblings and I hear them mention something that they really want or something that they're like, oh shoot, I could really use this, I will write it down in my phone notes pretty quickly. So my goal with gifts now is, of course, there's going to be a couple fluff things in there that's like, oh, you would like this and I think it's cute. So here, I thought about this and I got it for you. So there's that. But for the most part, I think a lot of the gifts that I get try to aim towards usefulness and practicality. So I don't know. Does that mean I'm not going to toss in a little candle or a mug? No, I love doing that. I love giving people candles and mugs. I don't know why. I feel like it's something that everybody's going to use at some point. So it's just like a fun, nice thoughtful gift that people are going to find cozy and useful regardless. But for the most part, I think a lot of my gifts do have to have some sort of thought behind them now. And I will say, on top of this idea that I mentioned of consumerism, obviously, like I said, it's on the up, and I'm not by any means not guilty of this either. I do think that this is something worth noting because it can very much lead to a bit of stress or even financial stress around the holidays, because this is something that I know when you're watching the news or reading different headlines during this season, that is a big headline and a reoccurring headline that I do see a lot more. So I figured that was something very much worth mentioning. Then there's also, going off of that point, especially the fact that I just talked about gifts, I really want to drill this point home too, because I think it relates to it. But there's also this potential of unrealistic expectations. This can go for really any age, I think. Maybe more so children, sometimes adults or teenagers in between. I don't know. It can exist really in any age range. But to back this up, I will say I think the way we've seen the holidays, maybe gifts, maybe celebrations, what have you, the way that they've been portrayed over time in movies and on TV shows or in media in any sense can sometimes subconsciously build up an idea of what we might be trying to achieve. And this doesn't just have to be, like I said, in the sense of celebrations or gifts or what have you. It can also be in the idea of setting up. Hence why I mentioned the Christmas tree thing at the beginning. I think sometimes we want things to look so perfect and look a specific way that if it doesn't look exactly like what we've seen, or it doesn't exactly match our expectations and our hopes, then we're automatically not as excited, or I'm automatically a little bit let down. And maybe the time isn't just going to feel as good as we were hoping it would, or maybe the celebration won't feel as good as we were hoping that it would. So that's another thing I really wanted to mention. The last factor that I will mention when it comes to the chaos of the holidays is very much a big one. It's something that we all struggle with at some point or another. Some people are maybe better with handling it than others, and that's just the way it goes. But schedules, and albeit busy schedules, that's a big thing. So as you grow up, this is something I've noticed specifically since graduating high school and straight into university. Maybe not so much in like my first year of university, but like second, third, fourth year. And then after graduating university, especially when I started to work and was busy in whatever it was that I was doing at the time, you have to start to schedule things into your calendar like a lot. And it feels weird. And you don't know when it really starts. You don't really clock it in the moment when it's happening, but you have to start scheduling time to see or even chat with friends, depending on what's going on with your circumstances, what's going on in your life. And it's just the reality of adulthood, truthfully. It's kind of shitty, but it kind of just happens and it makes sense. It is what it is. You can't really fight it. I think sometimes, for me at least, I'm like, I get overwhelmed at the thought of planning things, but sometimes it's better for me to be like, oh, I can just plan this, and then when it works out, we'll see each other, we'll hang out, it'll be good. I'd rather do that than have it be like a spur of the moment and then everything falls apart, because I can't do that. So now imagine you're doing that full year round. I mean, you don't even have to imagine it. Surely you're probably also living this. I feel like it's a very common thing for anybody over the age of like 20. I feel like it's something that is already so difficult to do, but then when it comes to the holidays, it's 20 times harder, because now you have a million and one things come up, or maybe you don't have too many things come up, but maybe it's just a very busy time of year and you're kind of like, oh, okay, I want to schedule in time for myself to be alone. And you find that hard to do too. I don't know. Scheduling time in any sense during the holidays can feel a little more chaotic, because suddenly everybody's schedules are all over the place. Suddenly everything's 20 times busier. It's also darker outside. It's also like, I don't know, colder. There's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to consider. So I feel like during the holidays as a whole, this is just a crazier time. And it just is what it is. Now, when it comes to living with this and dealing and trying your best, I've come up with a short list of some ways to cope. At least some things that I think help me and hopefully will help you too. So yeah, the first thing I'm going to say is very general, and it's very much, I think, common sense for most people: self-care. As I just mentioned, maybe you're not the busiest during the holidays. Maybe you're like, I don't have a million and one different events to go to, or I don't have a lot of people to see. Making time for yourself is like the best thing you can do. Probably one of the best gifts you could give yourself too, to be honest. It doesn't have to be sitting there and putting on a face mask, because I feel like when it comes to self-care, everybody automatically, at least for me, I know I automatically think about just sitting there with the face mask on, maybe in the bath. And I'm just like, Sounds great, but does that mean I'm going to want to do that? No. This could look like anything that you want to do. Anything that brings you peace, anything that brings you joy, anything that brings you comfort and relaxation, make time to do it. Just, I think, regardless of what you do, just taking some quiet time out for yourself is the best thing you can do during the holidays, because it's already such a loud, busy, and fast, like go, go, go time that you could really benefit from taking like a few moments of just mindfulness or doing something that's really peaceful for you. For me, I've been trying to do yoga more. I've also been trying to journal more. This is something that's like an ongoing battle for me with journaling. I get so into it and then I forget about it and then I try to get back into it again. And yeah, it's reoccurring. It is what it is. But I think making time to do some things like that for yourself or whatever else brings you peace is a really good thing to do, especially during this time. Another thing that I'm going to say here, probably going to be a little tough, but also nothing good comes easy, I don't think, at least most of the time. So the next thing I'm going to say is setting boundaries. Tough, controversial, I know. It can be really tough. I understand that completely. Setting boundaries is tough. It's not something that's meant to be easy, I think, because if it was, then we would all be doing it. But I think this time of year, if there's no way, for instance, that you can make it to an event that you planned to be at, then instead of straining yourself, take that time to really assess your availability, not only physically, so don't only look at your calendar, but also check your availability like mentally. Okay, you have an empty slot in your calendar. You have a few nights this week where you're like, I have to go to something. I have to go to this. I have to go to that event. Or I got to be around this many people and I really got to be social and on. Maybe that works for you. Maybe it doesn't. I'm going to be honest with you. Does that work with me? Probably not. I get drained pretty quickly. So I'm aware of that. So to help that, I will purposefully do things that I know can make me feel better or help recharge my battery, whatever way that might be. So I would say to check in with yourself mentally first and foremost. Because like I said, if you check your calendar and you're like, oh, I have a few other things this week that I also have to go to, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I can't make it to this one event because I know I have to go to other things. All right. Or if you're on the other side of the fence where you're like, okay, I have to go to all these things and I'll feel like crap if I don't. Maybe schedule popping in for a shorter amount of time and take some of that time back for yourself also. Or if you really want to set a boundary here and you're kind of just like, I can't make it to this event, even though it's the only event I have this week, then you can't make it. Because for me, and the way I look at it is, and I'm someone who loves to be at anything if I'm invited because I like to show up and be supportive if I'm able to. But I feel like if it's the case of you don't have anything going on really, but you're just like, I can't cope, it's almost better that you don't show up because it might not be you showing up in a way that you feel great or you showing up in a moment that you feel like the best. It might actually be more straining on you than anything else. So I would say to assess that. On the other hand, it also works out sometimes for people where they don't want to go to things. And I'll say this because I feel this a lot of the time actually. Sometimes when I don't really want to go to a thing, I'll still go and go for a shorter amount of time. Like I said, like I'll pop in and then take some of that time back for myself. And it actually makes me feel better that I went. Like it kind of gets me out of my head. It gets me out of my environment and it gets me in a new place with new people. And then I'm able to be in a different mindset and a different atmosphere. And it helps my mood feel better. It helps my mental feel better. And then I'm like, oh, cool. And I did that. So really, it depends. The last thing I will add here for some ways to cope, time management. Please, please manage your time wisely. Going a little bit off of what I just explained, it's of course amazing to be at all the things, and I'm not talking about just events, but like even just like popping up and doing fun little festivities or planning to go shopping or planning to cook or planning to bake, what have you. Please manage your time so that you're doing this in a way that feels best for you, in a way that allows buffers in case you're really not feeling good, in a way that allows you to just go about your day, your week, your month in the smoothest way possible. Like I said, it's already a busy time, so it doesn't take away any effort or energy or anything to plan a little bit better and to make things feel a little more organized for you just by managing your time. So with this, I will say I'm a huge stickler for this. Make a to-do list. That's something I do all the time. Make a to-do list, follow the to-do list. It will be a life changer for you. And I feel like that'll help you feel generally as organized as possible. I don't know, to-do lists for me help, and you can make different categories. Or if you have like a few things that you know you need to do on certain days, you can make a to-do list for your week and be like, okay, Monday I'll get this done, and then I'll do these 2 tasks that I really need to do too, if I have time. Just set up a to-do list. I'm making it sound easier than it is, I know, but that could be something that is very revolutionary and groundbreaking for you, maybe, hopefully, and then that'll be great, I think. That's kind of my set of experiences that I'll share about what makes the holidays so chaotic and what I feel is relatable for a lot of people, but also my list of ways to cope. That's just what I think is best. Moving along, I always like to include some audience participation from a form that I have that you can check out on the link in bio on Instagram at the Trying Times Podcast. So you can go ahead and check that out if you want to contribute some of your thoughts to future episodes, and I can feature that in one coming up. That'd be really fun. So I asked friends and family and viewers what the holiday season represents to them, as well as what helps them kind of go through the chaos of the holidays, or maybe this darker season as it is colder and darker all the time. And one of my friends responded with, the holiday season represents a time to slow down and spend time with family, watch holiday movies, and eat yummy food. Agree, and wonderful. Truly, all of it's wonderful. I always like to start holiday shopping online or early to avoid the busyness, but then normally find myself doing it last minute. So things are a little bit tough to avoid, which I literally just ranted about, and I do this exact same thing. I try to be patient and remember that it will all get done, which that's very positive, and I appreciate that. Seasons changing definitely affects me, and I usually feel really low energy and honestly like I want to stay in bed. It's so hard with the darkness and less sun to get motivated to do things after work when the sun is already set. I really like the light in the evening so I can do more social things. And it's true, I completely agree with that, because I think if it's dark outside and you also just worked a full day, you don't want to go outside and do much. At least I don't, and clearly my friend here doesn't either. It's just not a motivating time or experience. So I agree with that. They also said, I think that's also another part of it. We also tend to hibernate almost and don't go to social areas or settings because of the darkness or weather. I definitely love the light and sunshine. I feel like every year it gets harder with the changing seasons into winter. I know winter is a time to slow down because of that, but I do really miss the sun. I actually really like the point they just made about how the winter is a time to slow down. And I guess I've never really thought about it that way. I've, of course, always thought about it from the lens of like, oh my God, we get to hibernate. This is great. I go into extreme baking mode. I go into extreme cozy mode, and I go into like anything that's just like chill and inside and introverted, which I do all the time anyways, but more so during the winter. So I really like this idea of slowing down and kind of giving yourself the opportunity to just breathe after a very busy year. I like that. I'm going to take that moving forward. So thank you so much, friend, for your advice. I appreciate you. I also went ahead and I wanted to look from a different lens on Reddit into what some other people might think about this time of year and how to deal with the chaos. So I went ahead and looked at a thread in the HSP community on Reddit, the highly sensitive people community, because I feel like that's something that's very easy for me to relate to, and a lot of people could actually benefit probably from looking a little more into that. And I found a thread basically where someone is sharing about their experience of just so much overwhelm at this time of year, and also the heightened stress that comes with being around extended family. So in some people shared some recommendations, but before I get into the recommendations, I'll go ahead and read the post, and I will share, of course, the post is a little long. Bear with me. If you've been listening to me for this long already, you're gonna have to listen a little bit longer. So the person wrote, help. Holidays are hell for me. Relatable. I feel like there must be someone else who has dealt with this, but I can't seem to find anything on this sub. So my husband's parents live a plane ride away, and we always travel to see them either for Christmas or Thanksgiving every year. He has a sister who lives with his parents and her husband and a young child. He also has a brother with 4 kids under 10 that live in a different part of the country. His parents have a fairly small house, and whenever all the family converge for a holiday, it's mass chaos and I get beyond stressed out. He and his brother usually stay for 3 to 5 days to make the trip worthwhile, which is understandable, but I have trouble with overstimulation from being around kids for a couple hours, let alone days on end. Relatable. I always end up sick whenever we visit. The house is also very old, so sound travels like crazy and I can't ever get a break. Everything is constantly covered in clutter and the kids' toys, and everyone is just running around trying to manage all the kids and keep them content the entire time. Every single year, my husband and I end up fighting over me not wanting to stay or go, not wanting to stay as long as he does, not wanting to stay at his parents' house, and he gets offended that I can't just suck it up and support him as it's only once a year. He knows that I'm an HSP, extremely introverted as well, as do his parents. They tend to be fairly understanding when I need to just find a room and close the door, but I occasionally get crap from my husband for being distant or not trying hard enough to get to know them. I like his family and I know that he would love it if I were close to them, but I can't get to know anyone in an environment like that. Which also, that makes total sense. It's like a very chaotic time and sounds very loud, so obviously bonding might not come the easiest when you're already a highly sensitive person and get overstimulated. So moving on. All these trips ever do is make me resent them because I'm giving up my time with my small family and missing my dogs and putting up with all the stress of travel at the busiest time of year to go visit them. And I feel like it doesn't even matter that we're there anyways because the focus is always on the grandkids. I've just gone with my husband and sucked it up in the past, but it really isn't working for me. I feel like something needs to change. And this is where they ask the question, have any of you ever dealt with a similar situation or have any advice? I don't know what to do at this point. While I feel like I do need to make the occasional effort to see his family, and it's only fair that we split holidays between our two families, these types of gatherings really take a toll on me. And a lot of people shared a lot of very insightful, relatable, and open-ended and mindful responses, which I loved. Some people shared some very general recommendations, though, that I highlighted that I really appreciated. And the first one was earplugs. This is actually, as somebody who gets overstimulated very easily, a huge pro. Earplugs help with so much stuff. And now you can actually get earplugs by that brand Loop. I actually have a pair and I wear them to sleep. I love them, but you can actually get different styles of earplugs from them that you can wear in either louder settings like concerts or maybe bigger public events. So you're still able to tune into conversation, but it's just not as much and you're not overloading yourself or maybe getting overstimulated as quickly. So that's a huge win. I think that's a really good suggestion. Earplugs is great. Someone else actually also shared a really nice idea of setting boundaries, kind of like I mentioned, or having an exit plan, aka arrive later and leave early. Obviously, in this setting, it sounds like it's a little bit tough, but I just do think for this time of year, that's a very insightful and good idea for many people to have in mind. So that's why I wanted to share that one. Somebody said having a space to recharge. So, as this person mentioned, sometimes they can get away into a room, even though it's loud, they still are able to do that. That's so vital and so important. So, obviously, in this sense, they have that space. Maybe it's not the greatest, but it is still something. Hopefully, they can figure out something that works better for them. If you are in the instance of going somewhere and you're overwhelmed, I would suggest maybe if you're staying over and going to a new place or a place that you don't live in, to get a hotel or an Airbnb. If you're over for an event, take some breathers in an open space. Honestly, that is something that I've done myself as well when I've gone to different events, and I find it to be extremely, extremely helpful. So just having that moment, even if it's like every hour you step out for like 2 minutes, it makes a big difference. Just go take some deep breaths, get out, ground yourself, come back in, and before you know it, the event's done and you're good and you can go home. In sum, the older I get, the more I realize that it really is more than okay to just do what helps you feel relief and maybe feel a little bit more at ease. And there's nothing wrong with that. It might come across a little weird. Some people might understand. So long as you're obviously not harming anybody or offending anyone, I think you're good. I think you're okay. There's different ways to go about it. And of course, some people might get offended either way, even when you're being the most mindful, whether that comes to setting boundaries or maybe not being able to show up all the time. But I think if you're aware of what helps you and aware of what you need to do, that's of the utmost importance. So, yeah, that is it for 2025. And that's it for this year with Trying Times. I'm done rambling. You've listened to me ramble a whole lot this year, and I'm excited to ramble even more next year. So, again, like I said, if you have some thoughts on episodes and things you'd like to hear or thoughts on what you thought about this year, please feel free to email me at thetryingtimespodcast@gmail.com or send me a DM on Instagram at thetryingtimespodcast because I'd really love to hear from you and I would love to know what you think. And I can't thank you enough for being here and listening and sharing your time with me. So yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Hopefully some of these tips help you and I hope to hear from you soon. And yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. I'll see you next year, okay? Bye.